number you have dialed is not in service at this time. Not in service at this time. In service at this time.
Hey everybody, I want to share some information with you. I think it's important, so I'd ask you to listen up. Now, some of this you may know, some of you may not, okay? I know a lot of channels are talking about food shortages and food prices, so I don't like jumping on that bandwagon, but I think this is important information and I should share it with you. Okay. First off, I got to say, I don't think most people realize how severe that this could actually eventually become. Things are a lot worse than we're being told, and I'm going to give you some information right here that might be a bit of an eye-opener for you, okay? Food production is going to be substantially lower in 22, okay? Much lower than anticipated, it says. According to Bloomberg, the global fertilizer crisis is going to result in a lost production worldwide that is equivalent of enough food to feed 500 million people. Now, we only have 300 and something million in the United States. So think of that, 500 million people. From India to Vietnam and the Philippines, prices of crop nutrients crucial to boosting food production have doubled or tripled in the past year alone. Lower fertilizer use could mean smaller crops. The International Rice Institute predicts that yield crops could drop 10% in the next season, translating to a loss of 36 million tons of rice, or the equivalent of feeding 500 million people. The United States is only 338 million people, 162 million more than this country's population. You know, now you could say, well, we don't eat much rice here. Yeah, that's true. But that doesn't get us off the hook, okay? And it certainly doesn't help the people that do in the Asian cultures have rice as their main substance of their diet, okay? Some people have argued that they could eat wheat instead of rice, but let's look at that, okay? There's going to be a loss of wheat production in 22 as well. In fact, the agricultural commodity expert is warning, one agricultural commodity expert is warning that the war in Ukraine alone could mean that between 19 million and 34 million tons of export production could disappear this year. Between 19 million and 34 million tons that would be lost simply because of the Ukraine-Russian conflict, okay? To translate, that represents the caloric intake of 60 million to 150 million people that use wheat that wouldn't be able to get wheat, that won't be able to get wheat. Global food prices rose to their highest ever level in March. The United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization reported April 8th with wheat prices up nearly 20% from the month before. 20% jump in 1 month, okay? And it's supposed to go more than that. According to the USDA, 69% of total U.S. winter wheat production is in an area experiencing drought, severe drought, I might say, including hard red winter wheat, soft red winter wheat, and soft white wheat. That includes 82% of the production area in Kansas alone, 82% in Colorado, and 99% in Texas, and 99% of the area of Montana. So, wheat is going to be a major problem, and it's going to go up and up. And of course, when wheat goes up, everything that's made from wheat, all the prices of all those kind of products will rise as well, substantially, okay? More than 28 million poultry birds like chickens and turkeys have been lost in the United States just because of the bird flu that has taken place. Say that again. 28 million poultry birds, chickens and turkeys have been lost to bird flu just here in the U.S. Now factor in the fires of so many plants and warehouses. So let's look at this. How many fires are there? In California, smoke settled in Taylor Farms. The questions remain in the future of the business and the roughly 1,000 employed at Abbott Scott Street facility. There is little to nothing left of the processing plant due to fire and smoke damage. About 85 to 95% of the building is a total loss. That's California. Okay, Oregon. Multiple workers are hospitalized following an explosion of food processing facility that has nearby residents on alert for possible evacuation. Okay, and that's a food processing plant in Oregon, Hermiston, Oregon. New Hampshire, Conway, New Hampshire. Neighbors band together to support crews as they battle a fire in Conway for about 16 hours Monday night. More than 12 departments and agencies worked together to put out the fire at East Conway Beef and Pork Plant. San Juan, Texas. A structure fire significantly damaged a large portion of the largest fresh onion packing plant facility in South Texas. Jonesboro, Arkansas. The situation at Jonesboro factory is under control, and we are looking into the cause of the fire. A Nestle spokesperson said, thankfully no employees were injured and all are safe. What they had that caught fire was $100 million to expand the frozen plant, including the addition of 90,000 square feet, a new production line for Hot Pockets frozen sandwiches. In addition to those, Nestle makes products under the Stouffer's, the Lean Cuisine, DiGiorno, Tombstone, and Sweet Earth brands at that plant, and that plant was set afire. It was toasted. Think of that. Wisconsin, a portion of Wisconsin's river meats burnt down during an overnight fire on February 2nd and 3rd. And the cause of the fire is still unknown. More meat gone. The old portion of this plant is a total loss, Wisconsin River Meats said in a Facebook post about the fire. We humbly ask you to be patient and please give us some time to sort out the cause of the fire for us to transition some of our business and invoicing to another warehouse. Fayetteville, Illinois. Operating from what company officials refer to as the Command Center for Deli Star Corporation, St. Louis Innovation Center, the Siegel family-led operations and executive team have spent the week scrambling to fulfill customers' orders and to work out with local officials in the investigation. The fire that destroyed its 75,000 square foot processing plant in Fayetteville, about 40 miles east of this other location. But the point is, a 75,000 square foot processing plant to process food is destroyed, and it just keeps going. Belfast, Maine. Fire crews for several towns have been battling fire at the Macroom potato processing plant in Belfast. That plant was set on fire. Here in Kansas, a fire at a fertilizer company in western Kansas prompted evacuations Tuesday afternoon because of hazardous materials were involved, officials said. The Ford County Regional Hazardous Material Team deployed to Leoti for the fire and was fighting the blaze and removing hazardous materials, Wichita County Clerk Linda Goodrich said. So, And that was here just recently. Now, Indiana, they lost the Lewis Dreyfus Company said that a fire had broken out in the big house at Claypool, Indiana soybean processing and biodiesel plant on Tuesday, and the affected systems have been suspended. So soybean processing for biodiesel and all that plant was set ablaze. They said that their soybean deliveries were suspended at the plant on Wednesday. It's the largest fully integrated soybean processing and biodiesel plant in the United States. It caught on fire. Salem, Carolina. Uncontrolled fire at a fertilizer plant in North Carolina forced thousands of people to evacuate as firefighters stood back Tuesday because of the danger of fire explosions. So they couldn't even try to put it out because it was so bad, and that plant got devastated. It was the Winston Weaver Company fertilizer plant on the north side of Winston-Salem, Carolina. Any of these fires bothering you? Is this crossing your mind that all of these plants were set ablaze? Washington State, Sunnyside. A smoldering pile of sulfur quickly became a raging chemical fire just after 1 p.m. on Monday at Nutrin Ag Solutions in Sunnyside, Washington. Fire Chief Ken Anderson said the fire destroyed one storage building on the southeast corner of the fertilizer storage facility in the port of Sunnyside and damaged others, but adjacent nutrient buildings, storage tanks containing hazardous chemicals were spared. So a portion of that plant went up in flames. Louisiana, a fire started at the Cargill Nutrina feed mill in Louisiana in the early morning hours Thursday morning and burnt for 12 hours straight. And let's see, an explosion reportedly occurred as firefighters were working the scene. So Cargill Nutrina, Louisiana, on fire. Maricopa, Arizona. Let's see, their food pantry, after fire destroyed, they're trying to recover for Maricopa Food Pantry after fire destroyed around 50,000 pounds of food. The fire happened just 15 minutes after their food bank closed on Monday morning. Smoke was still coming out of the rubble for 24 hours. The flames were 40 to 50 feet in the air, and other than that, just pure black smoke engulfed the entire neighborhood, said Maricopa Food Pantry President Mike Connolly. Another fire. Oregon, Dufur, Oregon. The headquarters of Azure Standard, a nation's premier independent distributor of organic and healthy food, was destroyed by fire overnight. There were no injuries, and the cause of the fire is still yet to be known. Plainville, Indiana. Investors from the ATF National Response Team began its on-scene investigation on Friday into the massive fire at the Walmart facility in Plainfield, Indiana. Now, that isn't even talking about the Walmart fire that took place in Texas. And this is the last one I'm going to read you there. And besides this, to my knowledge, there was a total of 34. Now, that's just 16 locations that I told you about throughout the country. I believe the total now is 34. So, think about that. All these locations that produce fertilizer so that we can grow crops, or they actually produce food, or they store food, have all been burned within the last month and a half, out of the blue. Now, I'm sorry, I don't buy that every one of these fires and every one of these type of facilities just happen to catch fire and it's all just a big coincidence, every one of them throughout the country. I don't buy that for a second, and I hope you don't either. Now, I don't care if someone thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist. There is no way any right-thinking individual would believe that every one of these fires, up to 34 facilities, and I only read you 16, are all a coincidence. Because of this, you can see why our food prices are going to skyrocket and food shortages are going to become hardcore. Now, I know at our Aldi, there was no butter, no eggs, no milk. Now, I was just told about another Aldi, can't remember the state it was, eastern side of the country, Midwest, but the north portion of the Midwest of this country, okay, east of us. That Aldi had no chicken and no butter and no milk and no eggs. It's happening, and it's going to snowball. Please, please, please prepare. Do everything you can to stock up on any little thing you can. Don't panic buy. Nobody needs that. But just get things that you need, okay? And if you need to stock up on something, stock up on it. That's fine. People, you need to do that. You must do that. Food shortages are going to tear us up. At the rate things are going, it's going to be exceedingly expensive to buy anything. What will you do when prices actually double overnight? And they will at some point. They're going to double overnight. What if they triple? What food are you going to be able to purchase? Do you have the money to purchase groceries if they were to double in price? Talking about a lot of money. The average family of 4 spends at least $800 a month. Think if that was doubled. Okay, so they had to spend $1,600 to get the same amount of food they were buying the month before for $800. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen in the next month or two. I'm telling you that I totally believe, and these reports indicate that the food prices are going to double at some point. It's going to rise very high, okay? And when it does, people are going to panic. And then we're going to have some serious issues. When people can't feed their kids, they're going to find a way to do it. Whether they have to steal from somebody else, rob a store, people are going to do what it takes to feed their children. So do all that you can now. It's a scary prospect, but I believe that things are going to get really insane. Probably starting around the end of summer. Things should probably start really snowballing. With all these warehouses and fertilizer plants and meat plants and chicken plants and the other things that were mentioned, this all going to take a major hit in this country for our prices. And eventually it's going to show up. And I believe we're seeing that already. Our Aldi has been pretty good on the canned good area. On dry goods stuff, not so great. In the meat department, not bad, but not so great. I mean, we were going to get some chicken the other day, and it was really slim pickings. But, like I said, there wasn't any milk, butter, or eggs. Okay? So things are starting to happen. And it's not just Aldi. Obviously, this is happening all around globally, but in our country, it's happening quite a bit in a lot of stores. And people are noticing it and posting it and talking about it quite a bit. So please prepare, prepare, prepare. All right? That's it. God bless you guys. Stay safe, stay alert. We'll talk to you again soon.